Hi guys and gals, those attending our Wednesday and Saturday cruise nights know how successful they are and how much fun they've been. Rather than showing a lineup of cars this time, I thought I'd bring you a few interviews with owners and share their stories about their cars. You may recall in our last video we had a quick look at Deborah's 1960 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud that was found right here in Essex County, a barn find. Like all cars, each has its own story. And here is Deborah's story of her amazing discovery.
I went and saw it with my husband and said, no, it's in too bad a shape. There's too much rodents that bit in it and I don't want it. And I had no idea of the price. So we left and never thought about anything else about it. I went to work and it was a shame, but my husband in the meantime had my daughter wire money underneath the table so that he went and got it, brought it home, and when we washed it, it was exquisite.
And where was it discovered?
In the middle of nowhere, Windsor County, in an old barn.
The car was owned by a lady who moved from England to Canada.
She came to Canada in 1991. Everything on the car is original. She has less than 10,000 miles on her, with the exception of the paint. She was repainted before she came to Canada in 91. She has had 3 owners in Canada. I'm the 3rd.
It's an incredible story. I asked if she had problems with the right-hand drive.
No, because I was a mail delivery.
Is Deborah happy? I guess so. Deborah is not the only family member cruising in a classic. Daughter Lauren owns a 1936 Dodge pickup. Her dad found it for her.
There's about 600 that were made in Canada, and she's one of the few that were made still in Canada alive.
Buying was easy.
Simply purchased it online and went for a little bit of a road trip with Dad and picked her up, brought her home. A few minor tweaks here and there, changed out the seats, and she's all I drive now. Day, winter, doesn't matter, that's all I drive.
The truck is running a 99 GM Vortex 6-cylinder engine. Now let's chat with Woody. As you know, Woody turns out a new hot rod every year, and he spent the winter creating this one. It looks like one he built a few years ago, but he assures me it's different. Let's get the story on this from Woody.
1930. It's got a Buick nail in it, custom chassis. But the only thing Model A on it is the doors and the body. The rest is all pretty well something else. It's got a Model A rad shell, Model A headlights. Other than that, it's got a Buick nail hit in out of a 65 Riviera, supposedly. That's what I was told. 401, it's been rebuilt.
I asked what's different about this rod from the others he's built.
Well, it's got a different chassis in it. The chassis I bought off a friend of mine to give up on it. Originally it had a Model T body on it. I took it was rotten, very rotten, so I took it off, put a Model A body on it, and sold the other one. I don't know, this one here's got 35 fork wire wheels on it, Coker tires, which are not the best for riding, but you want the look, you got to pay the price of the ride, I guess. That's it. That's all she wrote.
Here's Jerry and his 1953 Chevy panel truck. I asked where he found it.
Well, I was living in Muskoka when I saw this for sale in a magazine, and it was actually down here in LaSalle.
He eventually moved down here. Tell us what you had to do to put this panel truck in great shape.
Well, everything. There's not a part on this thing that isn't new. It's got a 350 with a 30 thou overbore Chevy small block. It's all new wheels and tires on it. It's got a 700 R4 tranny with an overdrive. Rear end is the whole rear end is brand new.
What about the body?
Yeah, it was a rust bucket. It's got a brand new floor in it, brand new firewall. The rear fenders I got at a place that was called Bill's Truck Shop, and they were original stock, never installed fenders, which are really hard to find for this type of truck because they're not the same as the pickups.
And what about the interior?
The interior's got seats I got out of a wrecking yard, out of a Yukon. But other than that, the interior is basically the same as it was when it was manufactured. I tried to keep it looking as original as possible.
There is a story about the Harley-Davidson sign on the side.
Oh, I've been riding Harleys all my life. We moved down here to Leamington 4 years ago, and I just had a gut feeling it was time to stop riding, so I sold it. I'm still in love with the Harley-Davidsons. That's why I put the Harley-Davidson sign on it.
Thanks, Jerry, for a great story of rescue and restoration. Here is Randy and the story of his 1952 Chevy pickup. What a great find.
I found this through the website, and I picked it up in Barrie 4 years ago. And from there, brought it home and did the whole thing all over again. It was a complete rebuild. Not a frame off. I left the cab on, did the rest complete. And new motor, 350 Vortex, 700 R4 training, and a 300 gear. To give me I built a fuel squeezer. That's what I wanted to build, and I built it.
Randy says this was a 3-year restoration. This is a Chevy 1300, and it's different from the U.S. model.
The 1300 is a Canadian built out of Oshawa. The 3100 series, a lot of people don't know this, is an American built 3100 series. But the 1300s were built in Oshawa and shipped out west. Ontario did not get any. They were all shipped to Manitoba, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, and Quebec. But none came to Ontario. This one came from Saskatchewan originally.
Aside from the color orange, which he loves, it's a truck he just had to own.
I'm a diesel mechanic by trade. I've been in it for 45 years. Built a lot of street rods, all these guys know. And I said, for the last one, I'll do a truck since I was in the truck trade. And that's what I built.
Thanks, Randy, for showing off your pickup. Some guys naturally find an old pickup in rough shape and see what it can become rather than what it is. Well, that's the case with Ron and his 1935 Chevy.
I found this car up in Owen Sound, and when I got the car, all I got was some sheet metal and a rusty old frame. All the construction of this car originally was nailed onto a wooden frame. The wood was all gone. The termites got the wood, so I had to construct a new frame from steel and then put the whole thing back together, and it's been a 10-year project. So
Ron has owned this hot rod for about 12 years. The engine started life as a 350 but has been bored and stroked out to 383. Like a lot of guys, Ron uses his hot rod as a daily summertime driver.
I just always love these old cars like this. The style from the 30s, you can't beat it. All those curves and everything, they just don't make cars like that anymore. So
Ron says this hot rod is nothing but fun.
if the weather permits, I'm driving it.
Thanks for showing it off, Ron. Now Gary, with his 66 Dodge Coronet that he bought back in 2005. Like most older cars, Gary's Dodge needed a little work.
Quarter panels, motor, interior, and the rest was fine.
He also had the car painted in what he calls Chrysler Barracuda Green.
I'm a Mopar guy, and I love driving it. Got a 4-speed in it, and I keep it old school, almost original.
It's running a 444 barrel with lots of get up and go.
Runs, just purrs like a cat. Excellent.
Gary says this car's not for sale. Don't ask me.
Oh, it's a keeper. My grandson wants it so bad. My son wants it too, so it's a toss-up who's going to get it.
Perhaps time for just one more. Zorin came to the cruise a short time ago with his scratch-built Lotus Repro. It's a cool little car and one that he really enjoys. Zorin's a guy who needed a 5-year project.
Because I wanted to challenge myself. I always wanted something like this, a real sports car. I didn't want to just buy one. I really fancy the idea of building something. So I'm an engineer by background, so the idea of designing a little bit and rebuilding and putting something together, so it really appealed to me. So yeah.
It's powered by a 4-cylinder MG engine and drivetrain with dual Stromberg SU carburetors. This is a sunny days cruiser meant for fun.
Well, it's a Lotus, it's a replica of a Lotus Super 7, which was built in the 60s up to early 70s, I think it was. So they haven't changed much over the years. And today, Caterham still builds essentially this.
And here's a reminder, there are cruise nights every Thursday in Leamington at the dock. They'll welcome you. We have a great bunch of guys and gals at our cruise nights. Thanks to all for your participation in this video. We'll see you soon. Stay well and keep on cruising.